morning, Americans, citizens of the formerly Democratic Republic, representative democracy, not a true democracy. Okay, I'm going to hit home with this one point again. In order to have a democracy, you have to have democracy in the workplace. Less than 4,000 workplaces in the country are employee-owned worker co-ops. So that's how few out of many hundreds of thousands of businesses have democratic workplace. Furthermore, there's no expletives to define these cretins doing their doing their damage in Washington. And people are getting very upset. They're going to get more upset, more and more upset. And that's what we want. We want people to get upset, and we want them to speak out, and we want them to push back hard. When Republican constituents in a conservative district go to a rally, or at least they want to make those things rally, they call them, what do they call them? They call them town halls. Those folks want to burn these cretins down. And I hope they don't do it literally, because that's going to spur this big backlash now that you've got Trash to Hell as FBI director. There's his name, Trash to Hell. And then you've got Hogshit, who's screwing up things with the DOD. They just fired the chief of staff of the military. They just fired him. Yeah, his name. He's the chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He was appointed by Trump, and they fired him. Why did they fire him? So they could replace him with political loyalists. Now, it's up to you, enlisted folks and officers in the military, to get rid of Hogshit. You guys need to nullify this prick, and you need to not follow his orders because he's unconstitutional. And you swore an oath to the Constitution, not to Hogshit, not to Von Schitzenpants, not to the Muskrat. You have no oath of loyalty to those guys. None whatsoever. Nor Marco Small Penis Rubio. Yeah, you know that guy. God, what a horrible capitulator he is. At any rate, so that's the first news. Second news is people are coming back into areas of Los Angeles that burned down. They're moving back in. Pretty sad to witness their own devastation, and hopefully they'll have enough funds to do something about this shit. God, I hope so. I hope so. Now there's talk by the Von Schitzenpants admin that they may cut funding to Ukraine, and Starlink, and the Muskrat wants to cut Starlink internet access, right, over the mineral rights. Well, you know what? Ukraine doesn't need to give us their mineral rights. They can work out all new deals with the EU and NATO members. They don't need us. And this kind of leveraging, this kind of low life leveraging needs to go away. Which brings to the main point of this particular vlog. Opportunism. Now, if you're in business, if you're making investments, then opportunism can work very much in our favor, in your favor. Right. However, the problem with it is what are you taking opportunity over that may hurt other innocent people? Yeah, what is it? See, this is why a worker co-op, when structured properly, is much better for the employees, because the employees own it. The employees own the company. They own the means of production. Oh, God, that sounds like Karl Marx. Well, it is. It's the real aim of Marxism, because you won't have socialism until the workers own the means of production. Now, if you don't like that, fuck you. Yeah, I mean, come on. This whole thing of the sole proprietor and the corporate board owning and controlling everything, and the shareholders who are not involved in the day-to-day operations of the company unless they're employee shareholders, who should have, in a worker co-op, they have the vast majority of the shares. And then you have shareholders besides that in a lot of them. So if you don't like that idea, go piss up a rope. Go start your own business and hire a couple of people. No problem with that. Go ahead and do it. You don't have to have a worker co-op. You probably might be too small. And if you're a hedge fund ripoff, you're not going to do it either because you don't want to share the wealth. See, that's the problem with the opportunists. Most of them are into greed and avarice. They don't share the wealth. No, they don't do that. What do? Well, they hoard it, or they spend it on more investments, which is really a form of hoarding. And unless there's some benefit to all of us, it's pretty much useless. Now, I'm okay with having investments that give me and other people a comfortable living. Right, so we don't have to have financial stress. I'm okay with those kind of investments. However, investments that make hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, even multi-millions of dollars that are not necessary for the well-being of an individual, their family, or the network of supporters they have, then that's wrong. In my opinion, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's greed. That's greed. And that's what the term opportunism gets polluted with the greed equation. And this is where we have to root out. Now, in sole props and partnerships and small corps, it's going to be hard to root out the opportunistic. The way you do it is you don't do business with them if they're unfair to their employees and their customers. Because usually if they're unfair to employees, there's going to be a degree of unfairness with the customers. Yeah, there is. And you can go down the retail line of things and see that all over the place. You can see it in the big boys, in the big box stores. You can see it. Yeah. There's where it all goes. So our job in being consumers, protecting our own well-being, and see, this is the problem. As consumers, our well-being usually comes from the instant gratification of obtaining a product or service to, hopefully in our eyes and way of thinking, make our life better. And usually there is a lot of necessity involved there, and then there's also some hedonism. Now, I'm not against hedonism. I'm kind of a hedonist, yeah. And I am a consumer. Yeah. I mean, I spend way too much on stuff I don't need. I mean, I won't go into the list. Look what's hanging on the wall. Well, that's a smidgen of what I have. At any rate, and I love them and I play them and it's fun and all of that, okay? And I earned the funds to obtain them. Game over. However, we have to cut this greed and avarice off at the pass. And these guys that have all this money and all this wealth and everything, and they're not doing anything to benefit others with it. I don't mean charity. Charity is a fucking joke. I mean, look at the book by Anand Giridharadas, which is called Winner Take All. Look at that. No. We don't need billionaires. Billionaires, we need, I hate to say this. This is pretty it's pretty radical. It's kind of authoritarian in a way. We need to seize their assets and distribute them amongst their workers. Now, we need to turn those places into worker-owned co-ops. Now, you can leave that prick on in a consultant role and pay him some money to do that, but you don't pay him CEO wages. There's another thing. CEO wages in most companies, hundreds of times greater than employees. No, got to go away. Got to go away. Soon, now. Go a fucking way. Now, those of you that are sitting on your hands and remaining apathetic through all of this, who are more concerned with their genitalia or with their bank accounts or with their possessions or with a small circle of people in their lives, the last one, not really a problem. We should be concerned with those we love and those that are important to us. However, the other categories, Uh-uh. And what's happening now? Well, the economy's going to go to shit, probably. Probably going to go into a fucking really bad recession, maybe even worse than 2008. Yeah, maybe even worse than 2008. Yeah, I hope not. However, what needs to happen, take a look at the stock market. It's like the worst manic depressive situation you've ever seen. Watch it. It fluctuates according to what's going on in the marketplace, in the business world, in the economy, in politics, and it should not. Now there are stocks and bonds and all of that and investments that don't. They're pretty stable. I have one of those. A couple of them. Now, crypto can be really good. You got to have good advice on it. You got to get the right crypto at the right time. And that is an opportunistic opportunity we're looking into. What I like about it also is that it takes the banks out of the equation. Yeah, the big banks, I have my money, not all of my money, but some of my money in a big bank, in a great big bank. And I don't like it. And I have some money in a credit union. I like that. That's better. Better still, if I put it in a trust wallet in crypto with a good secure investment, that's a better place for my money. And I can move it around and keep it making money, or I can take it out and have the cash in another account to use elsewhere. Right. So that's the advantage. Now, the average person can get into crypto. They can. So, if you have a bank account or credit union account, you can go ahead. You can start a couple wallets. You can start a Coinbase wallet. A Coinbase account. There's a couple other ones, a crypto.com account. You can count. I'm not advocating these guys, but you can get in there and then you can get a trust wallet, and then you can start working with your money. Now, for those people who hate Social Security, and I don't, I collect it and I love it. And I paid into it for 60 years. Well, not 60, but 55 years I paid into Social Security. And it's my money and I want it. And I won't get to spend all of it because, probably be dead. Now, the fund doesn't need to go defunct. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people, regardless of their partisan thinking, that are going to stand up, and they're starting to stand up with this Social Security bullshit that the scum in the GOP have perpetrated for years. The Republicans. They're not Republican. They're Republicans. They're repugnant. Yeah, they're a repugnant MAGA slime nowadays. Now, they used to be, they weren't never cool, but they were better. But they are the most corrupt of all the political parties. The Dems have a lot of corruption over here. I'm not here, purporting how great the Dems are. No, the Dems can get greater. The Republicans, if they rebuild themselves, if they reinvent themselves, they can truly be a populist party of the people. They're not going to do it without complete implosion and destruction. It could be on their way. Let's see what happens there. I hate to be conservative in that area, but I do have to wax conservative in that area and skeptical. Here's the thing, you guys. Greed, avarice, opportunism. The wrong type of opportunism is very negative for us and does not breed the best things for us. It screws things up big time. Screws things up. Here, let's cop another news. Okay, so here's a couple things. A federal judge has extended the decision blocking Doge. In other words, doofus obstruction of government enterprise. And I don't mean profit-making enterprise. I mean enterprise of government to help the citizens of this country. So he's blocked them. They can't get they get blocked out of the payment systems. They should be. They don't need to touch our Medicare. They don't need to touch our Medicaid. They don't need to touch our Social Security incomes, whether it's disability or just the insurance that you're getting paid back on after years of retirement. Okay. So National Park Service just hired back a bunch of people, 7,700 work. Well, okay, so what happens here? So you have nobody in the parks to alert for forest fires. And there's going to be more forest fires. I'm sad to say, I don't want to see one more goddamn forest fire, ever. Yeah. I don't want to see one more goddamn son of a bitch. right? No, don't want to see it. Now, these guys, people, we have to stand up. We have to stand up. We have to push back. We have to get in the street. We have to pound on the Congress people's door. Now, what I mean there, it doesn't matter if they're a Dem, Republican, Independent, doesn't matter what they are. Pound on their doors if you can, especially when they're at home in their office in your district. Now, most of them aren't going to be. They stay in Washington, right? So then we have to call them, and calling them is very effective. We have to send them emails. We have to call them. We have to tweet them. We have to get on their ass. Now, here's the other thing. Twitter, X. Well, that's a good name for X. Exit the fuck out. Now, all you guys that are on there, get the hell out of there. You can move to Blue Sky, and you can help us take over Threads. Threads is a big mess. I mean, don't like any opposite sex pictures that are attractive in there, because then you get a whole feed full of that, and they're all bots. They're all out to get your attention because the likes can bring them, I guess, some dollars. Well, whatever. No, don't do that. Go up there, post your political opinions, and post articles and news that are relevant to that, and then we can take Threads over, because sucking turds is screwing everything up. There's a good name for him. Sucking turds. Yeah. Yeah. Sucking turds. Okay. So I've got names for all these guys. Look at Hog Shit. We've got Von Schitzenpants. Thank you, Michael Cohen. We've got Trashed in Hell, right? Let's think of one for the dog killer. Puppy Killer Sal. Okay, Puppy Killer Sal. Okay. And then, our friend Jasmine Crockett. I love her so much. She's so wonderful. She's such a hardcore woman. And she goes after these guys with saber-tooth abandon. I mean, she sinks it in their ass. And you have to. And now Trump's threatening to jail Raskin. He can't jail Raskin. No. And Raskin has been pardoned, so he can't send his vicious Bondi. We got to think a name for her. Yeah. Bondi Kook? Okay. Bondi Kook. Sounds like somebody who got injured in the volleyball game. Anyway, so we got to think of names, because, Von Schitzenpants thinks for names for everybody, Now, a teeny tiny 1/10 kudo for Bannon for coming out against the muskrat and for coming out against what's going on. However, this is with a grain of salt, because here's another son of a bitch that isn't worth the powder to blow him all to hell, or even the low caliber bullet to kill him. He's not worth the effort for a decapitation or a knife attack. He's not worth any violence at all. What he's worth is getting convicted of another crime and sent to jail. Yeah. Oh, let him have his free speech rights. Let the motherfucker spew. Yeah. And look at all these other guys who are coming out. Even Ben Shapiro. Oh, God. The quasi-fascist Jew. I hate to call him a Jew. I just don't think he represents the type of Jews that I know and love. Anyway, but that's very biased, okay? I am biased. I have the right, just like you do, to be biased. Now, if you don't like my opinions, that's okay. You don't have to like them. I guarantee you, though, if you try to enforce that MAGA crap on me, I will fight you to the death. That's correct. If you try to enforce it on me by force, I will fight you to the death. Yes, I'm not going to do that, though. I'm going to avoid that in a very peaceful way. We need to be peaceful, loving, kind, and compassionate. However, it's getting down to the nitty-gritty, y'all, and I'm not going to be the one to raise arms. I'm not. Definitely not. I know there's people out there that might. Now, look, let's go back. We're going to get in the Wayback Machine and go back to the late 60s and the early 70s. Well, what happened then? Well, we had the Students for a Democratic Society, and I was a kind of a member of one of their offshoot groups called the Student Mobilization Committee. We were on the street, we protested, and then we had another wing, of which I have a couple of old friends who remember. It's called the Weathermen. Now, the Weathermen, they attempted to do some bombings. They weren't too good at the bombings. And they didn't bomb the right things. You don't bomb the infrastructure. If you're going to take over the infrastructure and make it better and accessible to the people in general, that's cool. Well, okay, so some Weathermen went to jail. It was a debacle. Okay, so all of our protests eventually caused Nixon and Schittinger, God, lived to be 100 years old. Man, oh man. Man, oh man, what a tough, old, healthy bastard, huh? Well, Henry, he and Tricky Dick got us out of Vietnam eventually. We should have been out of Vietnam by LBJ's order. We should have got the hell out of there. And LBJ greatly regretted what happened in Vietnam. And so did McNamara. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Anyway, there's plenty out there on that. You can look it all up. That's great stuff. Then you had I.F. Stone in Korea. More great stuff. Look it up. Now, look. I'm anti-war. I have been anti-war. I'm pro-peace. So it's better to focus and reframe the entire conversation of anti-war into pro-peace, pro-peace, pro-peace. Everything needs to proceed along the lines of pro-peace. Now, the old pervert Gandhi, he was pro-peace, and he got a lot done by nonviolence. India became an independent nation. That doesn't excuse what his supposed sexual behavior was. Martin Luther King, he was a dog, man. That old boy was a dog. Yeah, when the young dog came on the porch and goes, man, there's a bitch in heat down there. Let's go breed her. The old dog looks up, licks himself, and says, sorry, son, already did. Now, he was a great man. Martin Luther King was a great man. He did great things. He gave the best speeches. I love his speeches. The I Have a Dream speech. Oh, my God, I love that speech. I listen to it every once in a while because I love it. I also love Ike's departure speech. You see, in my opinion, the last good Republican we had, forget Reagan, forget Bush, forget Ford, forget all these guys, forget them all. The last great Republican was Eisenhower, who probably would have been a Democrat, what some of the writers say, probably would have been a Democrat if it wasn't for Truman. Now, Truman, I don't like. Truman was a fucking idiot. He was a fucking idiot. Now, there's people that totally believe the bomb was necessary in Japan, okay, because they didn't want the Russians to get there first. Well, the Russians were getting close, man. They were getting on some of the northern islands. They were. And the bomb stopped the war. That doesn't mean the bomb was okay. The bomb was not okay. No. The bomb. And look what Oppenheimer said about it. Go watch the movie, read up on Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is really a hero, one of the few. Going back to all this pro-peace stuff. So, always push peace. Always push peace. Always push non-violent behavior. Non-violent protest, non-violent pushback. The rhetoric has to be very aggressive. Well, not aggressive. It has to be assertive. It has to be tough. And do you know, folks, what the greatest word of assertion is? I got this from the real Don Steele, who was kind of a libertarian. He got screwed up in the head. He said that the greatest word of assertion is no. So this is what we say to these cretins that are pulling this crap, this Doge crap, all this defunding crap, all this crap. You think you're going to get an $8,000 check? Well, hell, I'd like to get one. We'd all like to get a goddamn $8,000 check for the savings that come from the waste, if there is waste. Now, there is waste. We know there is. And we know that these organizations need to be restructured so they're not wasteful. But that's not what they're doing. Killing them and then talking about restructuring them without a plan to restructure each agency as it's killed off is bullshit. Because what does it do? It frees up the money so what's-his-name can get DOD deals. So what's-his-name could get Space Force deals. No, I want SpaceX gone. Gone. NASA needs to come back. Yeah. Now you got everybody in it. You got Bezos in it. When's Zuckerberg going to shoot a rocket? Come on. I don't want that stuff privatized. We don't want essential services and federal government agencies that actually do good privatized. We want them fixed, but we don't want them closed without a fix already put in place. So it's called replace. It's called replacement. It's called replenish, renovate, and replace. That's what we have to do. And we have to do it peacefully, and we have to do it with love and compassion. And we can keep the employees and do it because they can help us eliminate the waste. And then if there's a check that can be sent out to all of us, not all of us want that not all of us, but most of us are going to take, man, send me $8,000 check, man. I'll go throw that money around. Yeah. Now, if I get one, probably will donate it to what I consider to be the best causes. Probably. My best causes are cat rescue. Yeah, I'm a cat guy. I love my cats. I was always a dog guy. I've had more dogs than most people will ever have in their life. I love my dogs, but I like big dogs, and big dogs don't live very long. And it makes me really sad when I have to, out of mercy, put an animal down. And I like them to be able to die a natural death, pain-free. Well, sometimes they're in so much pain, mercy has to be shown. Okay, enough on that topic. Back to our original topics. Remove, replenish, and replace. And replace before you remove. And the replacement can be the replenishment of that agency. That's not being done. No, not at all. It's just, I hate big government. Small government. Well, what does small government mean? Small government means that millions and millions of people get neglected and their needs that they depend on. And it's not wrong for them to depend on these things. I mean, a completely disabled person, they need to get their SSDI check. Yeah, they do. They also need to get welfare. Food stamps. People need to get their goddamn food stamps. I know too many people who live at the poverty level whose food stamps have been cut almost to nil. What are they going to do? Go get the food box with 5 pounds of cheese in it? Come on, you guys. Let's get busy here. Let's get some great shit done. Yeah, and we can. We've done it in the past. Now, back to Nixon. Okay, so we put so much pressure on the bastard that he went and he did the Watergate thing. I don't go into that. You can read up on it. So he gets caught, and he's going to be impeached. The articles are ready to file. So Barry Goldwater, the beginning of the change for Barry. And Barry had a very, very interesting about face as he got older and retired out of the Senate. He did. That doesn't mean he's okay. He was still a right-wing piece of shit. I mean, look what he wanted to do to North Vietnam. He wanted to drop a nuke on Hanoi. Drop a nuke on fucking Hanoi. No. No, Barry. No. I'm glad he didn't get it. Glad he didn't get elected. He got crushed in a landslide by old LBJ. Let's not go into him, please. Jumbo. Jumbo versus the golden mushroom. I think he had to throw Jumbo over the toilet lid so he didn't flush it. Anyway, that was funny, wasn't it? Yeah. I can come up with some funny stuff once in a while. I come from a long line of humorists. More along the Will Rogers type of filth humor. No, I've filthy Will Rogers. That's not what this show is today. It will be like that in the future. Okay, back to Vietnam, back to Richard Nixon, back to his abdication. Well, the Republicans went to him in the White House and they said, dude, you got 2 choices, get impeached or resign. And we got the votes in the Senate. And you will go to jail. Oh. Well, I've never been a crook. No. Yeah, you are a crook, Tricky Dick. You always were a crook. You're a small-time crook. And now you've done stuff that's just totally wrong. So quit or go to jail. He quit. Then Ford got in and got mocked in the news for stumbling around, and he finished things up. He actually did a pretty good cleanup job finishing shit up. We got all the way out of Vietnam. And then, all that equipment got dumped to the ocean. And people got really upset about what happened in Afghanistan. Yeah, people got really upset about what happened in Afghanistan with all the equipment being left behind. Well, the equipment wasn't salvageable, and it cost more to bring it back and refurbish it than leave it there. So they left it there. So what are the Taliban doing with it? Well, we don't know. Taliban, they oppress. That's what they do. They don't like women. They want women to be 100% covered up, so after they rape them, the stains fall on the ground. Now, we don't like Taliban here. We don't like extremist Islam. That's what that is. That's extremist Islam. That's authoritarian Islam. We don't like it. No. Islam truly is a peaceful religion, but I don't like any of the Abrahamic religions. Probably like Judaism most, but I don't like it either. Yeah, they're all false. Yeah, trust me, man. Muhammad did not go up to heaven with the angel Gabriel. He did not get visited by the angel Gabriel. He was hallucinating. I think he smoked a little hashish, which is great. I'm glad he did. He should have gone and hung out with Hassan, good old Hassan, the assassin guy. Hassan il-Sabah. Yeah, with the Ismaili assassins. Well, that was before there were Ismailis. That was before there was a Shia. That was before, who are the other guys? A Sunni. Okay, so I don't want to go into Islamic history. I'm not an expert on it. I know a little bit. Blah, quick, bye. Christianity, the scourge of Western civilization. Christianity is a reason that so many people converted to Islam in the Middle East. Yeah, a lot of the historians say, hey, going in and screwing people over, does this remind you somewhat of, is there an analogy here between that and MAGA? Is there? There is. It's kind of a weak analogy, but it is sort of an analogy. So you go in and you destroy your own people, and then they're going to convert. Now, hopefully we can get them to convert to vote out the GOP completely. Vote them out. We need supermajorities in both houses. Then we need to re-impeach 3 people. Okay? Well, Johnson will strip him of his power. His political nuts will be cut off. He'll be politically castrated. But we need to get rid of Vance, and we need to get rid of Trump. So if we get a supermajority in both houses, if we have 67 votes in the Senate, because we're going to get a House majority, we'll impeach these cocksuckers, convict them, and oust them. And then we need to start on SCOTUS. Yeah, scrotus. Kind of like a disease that somebody gets from not washing their male genitalia. Yeah. Now, there's 3 good people on the Supreme Court, and I think Amy Coney Barrett could work out better. I think she could, and I think Roberts has the potential to do the right thing. Sometimes he does. That's enough on the Supreme Court. Okay, back to Nixon, back to the resistance, back to the opposition. We're the opposition. We're the resistance. There's millions of us now. Now we need to make it more and more populist so people won't feel like, oh, it's a bunch of goddamn Marxists and communists and socialists and fascists. There you go. There's the idiot statement of the week. Marxists, socialists, fascists, and communists. Okay. Well, 3 of those fit together. The third one, not so much. There are elements of the third one that become analogous to the other 3, but they're not. This guy gets up there and spews. Look at what he said, man. He said that it's Ukraine that started the war. Ukraine started the war. Did Ukraine invade Russia? Had Russia not taken 20% of Ukraine previously? Gosh, another allergy attack. My nose is running like a leaky faucet. Anyway, look at that. Then he's saying, he walks it back, and then he's still trying to blame Ukraine. And then he's got that cross-bearing Bimbet, the Trump-sucking Bimbet as a press secretary. Hell, she's worse. She's worse than what's her name was. The one who went back to Fox News. I don't even want to remember her name. And then Sean dancing in my scars, Spicer. Oh my God. Oh, and then what's her name? Huckleberry. Yeah. Yeah, Huckleberry. I lost a lot of weight, and now gravity has affected me. And I ripped off my own constituents for a podium, a $20,000 podium. Come on, Huckleberry. And now you got a Huckleberry over in Israel being our. You got a guy who doesn't even have the correct history of Israel and his own goddamn religion. No, this guy is a total bozo. Actually, it's a real insult to call him a bozo because I like Bozo the Clown. Well, he's the worst kind of clown. He's more like the Terrifier clown, who's impotent. He's like thankfully, his violence is impotent, so he's not violent. He's more like the Terrifier clown. Yeah, or Shakes the Clown, who's disabled. Yeah. So you've got all these knuckleheads out there, and it's not good. It's not good. I'll tell you what. I can't believe people are this stupid. They don't see that the EU has a larger economy than we do. Yes, they do. They don't see that China's economy is going to surpass ours. They don't see that China's GDP makes ours look like shit. No, they don't see that. No. Now, Russia, they're just a third-rate mess. Unfortunately, and no offense to the Russian people. There are many Russian people that are great people. There's no question about it. And there's no question that Putin, lousy a piece of shit son of a bitch he is, has increased their standard of living a great deal. But you know what? You don't poison your opponents. I think this is what Trump would like to do. He would like to assassinate his critics. And yeah, he would. He'd like to be able to get away with it. Well, guess what, Trump? Before that happens, SEAL Team 6 might show up at Mar-a-Lago for a little bit of cleansing. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. And I don't advocate that at all. However, you got to watch out, man. Some of these guys are not crazed maggots. Yeah, you got to watch out. So let's get busy. Let's get peacefully in the streets. Let's stay peaceful. Peace first. Peace always. Peace, peace, peace. And you know what? I'm going to get a piece of you guys. Yeah, in a very peaceful, rhetorical way. I'm going to get a piece of you, you gopers, you gropers, you maggots. I'm going to get a piece of you. Yeah, I'm going to get a piece of you. And we're going to put it in the oven, and we're going to glaze it, and we're going to feed it to the carp.